Hello once more, everybody. We are back, and this is part, 4 of Zap's run through the dungeon in Dungeon Crawl. Okie dokie, it's been a while since I last played on this account, so I'm gonna take a moment to reacquaint myself with what exactly it is I have and what I'm doing. I've got the dig spell, that's good. Oh wow, I am more powerful than even I remember. And everything's hungerless too, how sweet. Okay, let's take a moment and recollect that thus far we have gone through the dungeon, and actually let me pull up the dungeon menu. Found altars to a lot of the gods, which is great. We've cleared out the entirety of the lair, all the way down to the bottom floor, which is really nice, and found a bunch of cool stuff. We have gone through the 12th floor of the main dungeon, which is solid, not deep enough to find the vaults yet, but then again we're not quite looking for them yet. I decided after doing the lair to come back and doing... Oh, and I did the hive too, okay. And now we're doing the Oricsh Mines. Thing about the Oricsh Mines, which I've mentioned before, is that it is deceptive, because while the Oricsh Mines are located higher than the lair, inside the hierarchy of the sub-branches, they are almost inevitably more dangerous, and it's quite possible to get, smited by orc priests 2 or 3 at a time while a troll attacks you. So if you enter there too early, you can tend to die early game. So best to avoid it until you're ready. But now that I've cleared out the lair, I should have a fair shot at getting through here. Other thing I'd like to point out is my relative power level right now. And oh, actually, let me see my resistance. I only have resist poison. That's not good. But I do have something on it. I do have at least something for and I have a staff of power. Oh, right. I had a lot of mana. I want to point out that right now Zap is in a very good shape in terms of being able to brutalize his enemies, because my list of powers is pretty extensive and they're all pretty high level. I mean, I have level 6 and level 7 damage spells. If I'm one-on-one with a single enemy and I have like a full mana bar, I should be able to kill pretty much anything in the game with 2 or 3 poison arrows. I mean, at least anything I'm going to encounter for the next couple floors. Problem is, 1, what if they miss? 2, what if I kill it, start walking away, and I'm attacked by something else when my mana is lower? So no matter how powerful you are one-on-one, you have to be cautious. There are some very powerful uniques that can spawn in here. Now, I don't actually remember... I know I visited here before, and when I retreated, it wasn't under the best conditions. By the looks of it, there were a series of orcs, and I retreated from them. But now I think I can handle that. Again, let's see. The worst case scenario is I start adjacent to this guy and this guy. If that's the case, I should be able to Mephitic Cloud and escape, and I can always blink in a pinch, so I'll take the risk. Can I go invisible? Because that would be ideal. No, I can't. And what's my evocations? Perfect. Alrighty. Into the fray. I'm starting adjacent to 3 orcs. This one hasn't noticed me. These 2 have. Actually, this one's confused, so I must have Mephitic when I last escaped. If I just go back upstairs, these 2 will probably follow me, so I'll do that. Perfect. Like pigeons to the slaughter. It's not pigeons to the slaughter, it's lambs to the slaughter. And I have Animate Skeleton, I don't have Animate Dead. And there is a book of that, but it costs way too much, so forget it. Okay. Now it's not safe, because by the time I walk upstairs, I could get really badly hurt. So I'm just going to confuse everybody first, and then pick off whoever's weak. And now it's time to pull out the big guns with Isequindarun's Blast. Pigeons to the slaughter. I have a lot of mana, so I'm not scared yet, but I don't want that priest to start smiting. Oh, perfect. The Orc Warrior hits it. Actually, yeah. Let's just do this then. Okie dokie. So far so good. Nothing but vanilla orcs. Now, again, at this point, I've somewhat concluded with the more tutorial part of this, because this is already one of my best runs, like one of my top 10 offline runs. So I'm not as qualified anymore to be giving serious advice. However, for those of you who haven't played the game before or who aren't as familiar with everything, I'll continue to say some more general basic advice stuffs. So that disclaimer out of the way. Every floor in Dungeon Crawl has 3 upstairs and 3 downstairs. It's a very useful thing to know. So here we have 1 stair going down, 2 stairs going down, and that's it. So where's the 3rd? Also, we have 1 stair going up. Where are the other 2? The Oricsh Mines is very commonly going to have this thing where there are disconnected floors. Somewhere out here in the unknown, there's going to be another dungeon chamber. So what I'm going to do is, I'll go down this staircase, and when I find another up staircase, I'll go through that, and hopefully this will give me a more complete map of the dungeon. At this point, I'm basically using my basic magic attack. What's it called? Magic Dart, in conjunction with Mephitic Cloud to keep my targets vulnerable and occasionally suicidal. Okay. This floor is cleared. I have 1 stair going upstairs, but I know where that one leads. There's another one. Now, I could be walking directly into a skirmish, so before I actually go upstairs, let's make sure that I have a minion horde ready to support me if I need to run. Now see how good a thing it is that I explored, or I would have left out, you know, wads of cash. For targets like that warrior, I generally will switch to my Isekundurun's Blast, my level 4 spell, instead of continuously just using my magic dart, because they have a little bit more health and armor to work through. But for easier targets like the orc, magic dart is more than enough. In fact, with a lucky roll, it'll one-hit kill them. Actually, so realize that I had minions over here. If I use my recall spell, I should be able to... Yes, there we go. I should be able to bring those minions here as well. So now it's the combined might of all my armies. Okay, let's see now. We have 1 stairs going down, 2 stairs, 3 stairs going down. We have 1 stair going up, 2 stairs going up. We're missing a 3rd, which means we still don't have this complete floor explored. However, there's only a few stairs going up, which means that we're not going to get this whole floor explored just by going up and down stairs. This is why having a Wand of Digging and a Scroll of Magic Mapping is useful. I don't have the magic mapping, but I do have the ability to dig. I think I have the dig spell. Yes, I do. So, making sure to keep earth magic disabled, because I have no interest in buffing that. I'm gonna start digging my way out, or digging my way around until eventually I find the other chamber, because I'm sure that there must be at least one more chamber. Notice that when I miscast, because it's not at max, I get this glow. I don't want to let my glow accumulate too much, because if you do, you can suffer mutations. But I'm greedy. Yeah, you can imagine how a scroll of magic mapping would help a lot here. I would know at least which direction I'm supposed to be digging. Okay, glow's gone. I no longer am worried about mutations from miscast effect, so... Okay, nothing. It's probably not worth spending too much more energy looking for, but it's not like I don't have the food, so I'm gonna take the time anyway. I'm just double checking to make sure I didn't miss the upstairs. Yeah, there's only 2 stairs going up, which means there has to be a 3rd. You can also imagine, actually, I'll save my comments until later, but... Oh, there it is. There's the other chamber. And a thoroughly disappointing chamber, but where did all these orcs come from? So, the rule is, with the Oricsh Mines, what they say is that orcs can walk up and down stairs. What it really comes off more like is, orcs can respawn in previously cleared floors. Generally, you're not going to expect anything much more than a basic group of orcs and maybe a wizard or 2, but it bears mentioning that that can happen. Okay, 1 stair up, 2 stairs up. We're missing at least 1 stair up, so we should go down from the downstairs that we haven't gone down yet, which are these. And my curiosity paid off with almost an extra 200 pieces of gold, 100 pieces of gold, so cool. 1 stair down, 2 stairs down, 3 stairs down, 1, 2, 3 up. Okay, this floor is cleared, but that's just way too big an area to be empty, so I'm going to dig to it because... Now, if I only had wands of digging, I would not do this, because it'd be a waste of charges if it turned out that there was nothing there. But since it's a spell, I just realized, yeah, okay, now I'm taking damage because of miscasts. Okay. I actually have no way to cure mutation if I should mutate, so I do need to be careful not to let that happen. One time I did a similar stunt like this, and I ended up getting teleportitis, and that was really painful. Okay, well, let's... Again, there's not necessarily another chamber. It would be nice if I had scrolls of magic mapping, but I don't. I didn't take any sparkles with me, naturally. Okay. 3rd floor, we got a crowd. Mercifully, nothing here too dangerous. Notice that altar to Baal, which means there's going to be some priests nearby, probably. I'm most terrified of being hit by an ogre, getting credit gold, and being in trouble. But this is the best place to place a Mephitic in terms of output. I'm not going to take any risks. I'm going to start with these guys, and then I'm going to move on to these guys. Alrighty, now what do I have spell-wise? I want to deal some area of effect damage, but I don't have anything that does that. Nothing that does damage on my... Yeah, I only have single target spells. Actually, I should check. Do I not have Venom Bolt? I do. Do I have Lightning? Lightning. I had the ability to get lightning spells. Do I have Fireball? Okay, at some point or the other I should probably have memorized those, because that would be ideal for a situation like this. Notice how many targets just got nailed there. And I'm not worried about being killed by a goblin. This thing's too weak. But I do need to take out the ogre before he comes to his senses. He's the only thing here that's remotely powerful. So I'm going to unload with my max damage, not max damage, my Issekundrun's Blast. And sure enough, that does the trick. Goblin. Okay. I was actually about to leave so that I could get my mana back. But I just realized I'm at 41 mana because I have so many mana buffs between my ring and my staff and all. So I'm just going to stick this out. There's no need to run yet. By the looks of it, everything is still very well contained. Maybe I'm being a little cocky, but I don't want them to crowd the stairs either. Now, if I had Animate Dead instead of Animate Skeleton, I could just stand in the middle of all these corpses. Hang on, what did I just get? A summoning book. Should probably memorize Abjuration if I have the spell levels. How many spell levels do I have? I have 10. Abjuration is a spell that lets you unsummon summoned creatures. It's useful for if you're getting ganged. I don't actually want any of these other spells particularly. I mean, maybe they're decent, I don't know, but I don't particularly care for them. Actually, Abjuration, I'm going to take it because it's under the better to have and not need than need and not have principle. And if it turns out later I don't want it, I can always unmemorize it and just lose this gift, this God Gift book. Seeing as to how there's nothing else that really catches my eye here. As much as I like meat shields, it's not like I like wasting mana on them that I could spend killing stuff. Okie dokie. So now, here's the kind of situation where I'm not comfortable going down because I only have one little cubby explored. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and see what happens down another down staircase, preparing for a fight just as hard as that last one. Remember, always prioritize the priests. They can deal irresistible damage. Spreading my Mephitic as much as I can. Let's take out the Orc Warrior before he comes to his senses. Notice that my mana, I mean, you won't notice it particularly, but my mana is going back up for every kill, thanks to Vehemet's support of my conjurations. It's not going up like by as much as I'm spending usually, but it's enough that I'm getting even more sustainability. Because that's always the problem for wizards, is you're this little pillar of death until you're out of mana, and then suddenly you're useless. Actually, what's my recall spell? Let's just do that. There we go. I now have a Horde of Undead. Regen my mana, and let's explore. That's 2. Out of curiosity, I've never used Abjuration before. I'm just going to see what it does. Hostile only, or at least shorten the caster's state locale. Okay, cool. Right, so if there's a summoned creature that's trying to cause me grief, I can always just abjurate and try and get rid of it instantly without fighting it. Okay, that's the staircases. I'm debating whether or not to connect these two chambers with a dig pathway. I think I'm going to opt not to do that, but I will partially dig a pathway so that I can, in a pinch I can start running. And the reason I'm doing this is, if I end up getting chased out, I don't want to necessarily have to stand and fight. Okay, time out. This is floor 3. And it's mostly cleared now. If I had a scroll of magic mapping, I'd make sure. Floor 4 of the Oricsh Mines is a death trap. There are seriously dangerous creatures there that can kill you instantly. Sometimes it spawns a little bit easier, sometimes it doesn't. Never take the risk. The rule of thumb is hit and run. Do not get caught up in big fights. There are sorcerers and warriors and warlords that can kick your ass. So be very patient. Don't rush it. Take your time. That's the way not to die. And don't get caught off guard. So I'm going to go down, and we'll see what I see the moment I go down. This is actually one of the best possible things that could have happened. I came down, and there's no immediate threat here. Now, notice how I'm not auto-exploring at all. I don't want my character to run off and then get surrounded and not be able to retreat. Always wanting to keep the staircase where I can get to it. I'm gonna try and build up an army, so I'm not gonna let him come with me, actually. Tell him to wait. It looks like... Yes, it looks like I have been dropped in a little... Okay, see this silver ring? My gut instinct is that it forms a semicircle, in the middle of which is all sorts of death. And we'll just have to see how that goes. I probably walked too far, because if something bad has walked here, I'm in trouble. But I'm still going to take a risk and peek, because I don't think that's likely. Yeah, okay, nothing. Running back. There we go. They have seen me. They're probably going to shout. Yes, they're shouting, so more will follow. I am going to walk away, because I want to be able to get to the staircase to regenerate mana whenever I need. But since I have more speed than them, I will hit and run. Using a Secundarun's Blast on the big one, and Magic Dart on the little one, and wouldn't you know it, they died for me. Just growing my army. See, this guy probably spawned rather than actually walked. That's a property the Oricsh Mines have. And look how much damage he did to me. He did 11 damage, irresistible, in smite range. If I had been fighting 2 other enemies, that could have ended me pretty harshly. Our first real enemy, the Orc Sorcerer. While not immune to Mephitic Cloud, I get the feeling he's less vulnerable just based on my experiences with him to poisoning. It lasts less time, etc. So, whatever. Always Mephitic when you fight against a wizard, so he can't cast any spells. Notice that I was playing hide and seek with the smiter because I didn't want him to, get easy line of sight on me while I was fighting other people. Okay, time to go back, because now I'm starting to get into a real fighting scenario. I have the advantage of being able to dig at will, so I could theoretically carve myself some new paths here. But instead of doing that, I'm gonna leave the current path as is because they're allowing me to, you know, dodge and hide a little bit nicely. Again, risky place to start a fight, but I'm getting a little bit bold because I have the speed, and there we go. That's a sign of trouble. Mephitic. Notice that he summoned an orange demon. He can do that. He can pretty much spam that, and he raises the dead as well. Which is another advantage to the way that I keep destroying the skeletons. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm at risk of being overrun. No need to get into a pitched fight when I can always be fighting with my back to the staircase and a full mana bar. Case in point. This is a Tormentor. I have never fought them before. God willing, I will never have to fight them again, because it is fast, can fly, is resistant. It's resistant to poison, so Mephitic is useless. Actually, you can tell by the star that it's been summoned, so it should be vulnerable to abjuration, so I'm just going to abjurate this guy. There you go. Abjurate has already paid for itself. I didn't have to spend precious energy, food, and mana fighting a summoned creature that isn't even worth experience. See how much easier it is to fight these guys in the corridor, as opposed to if I had been fighting them on their own turf as a block. Problem is, I am burning through my food really fast here, or not my food, my nutrition, as fast as, like, because I keep regenerating. But hey, better safe than sorry, and as tempting as it always is to try and cut corners on, you know, how much food you spend and how much time you spend regenerating, just remember that I've already cleared out the hive. Food is no object. If ever I need to, I can always go back and get some more. Now, I've actually forgotten what I'm wearing robe-wise, but somehow I don't think it was good. Oh, it's a robe of cold resistance. That's nice, actually. So let's see what I've now gleaned. Nothing. Not useful. Alrighty. Oh, I have a wand of fireball. I did not remember that. Gotta bear that in mind. Yeah, I'm not Mephiticing them. I should, maybe, but eh. They don't smite me, I don't get worried. Notice how he was cleverly staying out of my line of sight when he approached. They will do that. Okay, that's an Orc Knight, that's a Troll. These are now finally some serious opponents. I'm going to let them approach once more so I can get a nice Mephitic off, and then I'm going to bail. And most likely there's going to be some... What just happened? Something, I don't know what, but something just summoned a series of very, very dangerous creatures nearby. Not so dangerous, not so dangerous, relatively dangerous, and I don't know what a hell beast is, but I'll tell you one thing, I don't want to find out. Let's abjurate. There were actually more things that had been summoned than I knew. Okay. So, you guys may recall that I was kind of, how important is abjurate really? Well, I never have used it before, but after having seen what it's done for me in the last few seconds, I can tell you that it's godly. So I've been besieged by my staircase fairly mildly thus far, which is good. Again, remember how I said when I began this recording that, whatchamacallit, that one-on-one I can take on pretty much anything right now. I have the mana bank. Heck, I can take on one and then one more. But beyond that, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 significantly dangerous monsters in a row or simultaneously will be enough to give me pause. So setting myself up, ooh yay, a troll hide. Setting myself up to not have to fight them multiple at a time is a good move. I'm holding onto the troll hide so I can make troll leather armor at some point. Probably not ever going to use it, but I like having my options. And of these, what do I not need? What don't I need? I don't exactly need to resist corrosion, but I don't want to lose that ability. Staff of Earth is excessive. Scroll of Recharging. Kinda sorta want all of this, so I'm gonna eat a bread ration. That still doesn't free up enough weight. Can drop my darts. No reason I should ever be using them right now. Can drop my new summoning book. Actually, that's what I'll do. I'll go upstairs and drop something there. Drop the troll hide. Drop the summoning book and the staff of Earth. Pick up the troll hide. Actually, now that I think about it, I'll drop the troll hide even more upstairs. And I'm going to want both of these eventually, so I'll stick them with the troll hide. And the reason I'm putting it all the way on the 2nd floor instead of here on the 3rd is in case I ever have to make a retreat with things following me. I shouldn't be so, I shouldn't have to make a stop to pick stuff up. Should be able to leave some enemies on the 2nd floor to deal with later. Need to get closer in order to use my Issequindrun's Blast, but there we have it. I think I may have gotten lucky because this was not a very challenging Oricsh Mines yet. Of course, the moment you say that is when everything comes out and kills you, so I shouldn't have said it. But yeah, I'm happy. Exploring the shops. Again, notice how overextended I am right now. All of this is unknown. I should really back up, but I figure I can safely glance at these shops. I have a generic cloak and a generic hat. Those need upgrading, and my robe isn't elven. Elven stuff is better for spellcasting. I don't know anything about Rupert. You know what you do when you know nothing about something? Treat it like it's the strongest creature in the game. We're gonna go ahead and fit it Cloud. Then we're going to kill this guy. And then okay, he's vulnerable to Issequindrun's Blast. I am so glad I have an armada behind me. I'm gonna fireball this little mass because I'm very low on mana right now. Perfect. They all died. How very thoughtful of them. And notice that all of them dying actually improved my mana situation, but now I'm low on mana, getting into a protracted fight, and God only knows what I'm going to run into on the way back. Time to do this. Cut and run. I'm gonna get a nice Mephitic off. Make sure everything is nice and dead, and then drag my necromantic horde out with me as I run for it. Stairs, regenerate. We are back, and thus far, our systematic approach to clearing out the Oricsh Mines has not failed me. I don't like this little metal box. I don't want to be inside it. Notice that Mephitic Cloud, that spell that I had within the first half hour of playing, maybe a bit more, but couldn't have been much more than that, is still one of my best spells. And thanks to the extended range I get from Vehement, I can, and the poison resistance that I acquired from that ring, I'm basically able to continuously cast, not continuously cast, but cast it on clumps of units at a time. When we start getting towards enemies that no longer are vulnerable to it, the game is going to become decidedly harder. Okay, let's go ahead and jump to this unknown segment of the... Wow, it's a good thing I recovered my mana before I moved. They're all good and confused. I'm going to use Poison Arrow on this guy. Do not want to deal with him. The reason I use Poison Arrow is because it could take 2 Excondurance Blasts, or 3 each, for these guys if I'm unlucky, because of 1 miss each. And that's going to leave me at, not low mana, but, you know, not happy mana. So it's better to spend a little bit extra to ensure that the target that I need dead dies. Okie dokie. I now have a sizable army behind me, which is nice. But I am at half mana. Let's pull them this way. I'm not concerned about my mana situation right now because I've already done a lot of killing. I've killed some really high profile enemies. And because of between my speed and the size of this army I have, I'm fairly confident in my ability to retreat safely from anything except maybe Santaroka. Oh, I should mention that. If ever you see an orc named Santaroka, I'm pretty sure he can be Mephitic, but treat him like the strongest enemy in the game, because, quite frankly, he is one of the stronger enemies you're going to deal with. He's an orc priest, so he can smite. He's also as powerful as like an orc warlord or whatever. You may notice how much more careless I'm becoming right now with my Mephitic Cloud. again, it's inevitably this kind of carelessness that results in you dying, but what the hey? There's nothing that's really damaging right now. Oh Christ! I went up a staircase and this is here. Okay. Times like this, pays to not play quickly and think carefully. This is not as dangerous a situation as it looks, because these are all low-level orcs and there's one real damage dealer. That said, if I play stupidly, I could end up dead. If I go downstairs and 5 of these guys follow me, they all hit me and deal half my health and damage, I might have a fight on my hands I don't want to be fighting. I don't want to blink. If I blink away, then I'll have to fight and win this fight. I don't need to win this fight right now. I just need to get away from these guys. And if I win the fight, that's a bonus. Do I have any fun abilities? No. Do I have any zapping stuff that would help? I could fireball on top of myself to try to get some kills, but that's stupid. I don't have a scroll of fear. That would be the #1 ideal move right now, to scare everyone back, so that give me some breathing room. Okay, nothing that springs to mind is going to be more effective than Mephitic Cloud on top of myself, or actually even here, but no, on top of myself, so that when the Orc Warrior steps towards me, he'll be confused. I'm still going to take some damage from people accidentally hitting me and the like, but this is going to cover my escape better than anything else. And now, of course, here among my entourage, not exactly fair, but it's great to fight. But I'm going to run back to my other staircase, because that's a lot of orcs to leave unkilled in one place, and if I should have to walk up that staircase later on, it could be very ugly. To hell with it, let's dig. I recall is now a weapon to be feared. Okie dokie, so now that we know where we're trying to go, and this is part of the reason why I'm so anal about trying to clear floors, is I don't like getting surprised like that, and I generally I know that I'm more than likely to do something stupid eventually, so best be on guard and give myself a way out when I do. Should have gotten all my mana back before I started the fight. Okay. Gotta love how 2 smites does that to me. Now, wargs are not vulnerable to Mephitic Cloud and are very dangerous at melee range and are very fast. So high power spells, prioritize them as a target. They're not very strong or anything. I mean, they die just like anybody else, but think of them like the spiny frog. You don't want to deal with them. Now, if I had animate dead, I wouldn't actually have to step on the corpses to animate them. I could just do it from range. Okie dokie. There's probably another, just based on where these are, there's probably something over here too. Should probably actually go and look at it, and I'm probably not going to. But, whatever. I don't like that. I don't know what it is, and it's scary. So, just thinking how I'll approach this. Okay, it's vulnerable to Mephitic Cloud. Wonderful. That was 20 mana worth of Issekundrun's Blast, just to try to get rid of that one thing. And if it actually hit me with that rock, I would have been in a lot of pain. Now I'm auto-exploring because I know that no matter what I see, I can summon an army to deal with it. And I'm still safe, so I'm gonna go ahead and guess that there's something over here. And dig my way over. But I think at this point I may have cleared the Oricsh Mines. There wasn't nearly as much money as there normally is, because I only have like 2,000. Actually, that's a decent amount of money. There's not terribly much money, but there's some money, and there's some stores, which was nice, but nothing I wanted out of them. Oricsh Mines is, I officially declare it cleared. Let's get out of here. Actually, so that wasn't easier than usual Oricsh Mines, and I say that even though you'll recall that there was more than one enemy that was very terrifying, including the I'll just leave the troll hide here. If I ever need it, I'll come back for it. Like I said before, I kind of want it, but doesn't mean I'm actually going to use it. But yeah, even though I say it was easier than usual, realize just what I faced there. And remember how if I didn't have Abjurate, I could have been surrounded by mid to high level demon summons, and I only got Abjure casually just before I entered. That without it, I would have been forced to retreat like I had been doing more often to wait for the summons to wear off and the like. So always pays to be a little bit cautious, because you can use up food many times, you can die only once. There's more of those orcs being summoned. Oricsh Mines are cleared. I'm debating whether or not to continue going or to take another pause from here. I think I'll keep pushing I think I'll keep pushing inward into the dungeon and see where that takes me. So, we have now completed the lair. We've now completed the main dungeon down to the lair. We've completed the hive, and we've completed the Oricsh Mines. The logical next move would be to either do the swamp or the snake pit, in my opinion. I should be strong enough for either. Problem is, if I recall, there was something wrong with the swamp. There was some reason why I avoided it. I think I got gang attacked by something before I left, and I was waiting for a way to get back in without dying, like turning invisible or something. Let's visit the lair. At the very least, I'll visit my stash. Drop off my books, see what else there is to memorize. Yeah, I don't have Venom Bolt. Ooh, Freezing Cloud. I've never actually cast that spell before, and now it looks like I'm capable of it, so I should read what that is in a moment. I have a Ring of Magical Power, Ring of Wizardry. I'm going to put my Ring of Wizardry on for the moment, because if you'll look at my mana, it's 50 right now, and with a Ring of Magical Power, that only goes up to 55, so it's really not that much value. But a Ring of Wizardry should increase the power of my actual spells, which is much more valuable to me, and also makes it easier to memorize them. So I would have Great with Freezing Cloud at that point. Iron Shot is irresistible damage, but so is the Sequinderun's Blast. I don't need more of that. I have my go-to damage spell and my irresistible Poison Arrow, so I'm okay with that. Actually, a lot of these spells I've never heard of. I've never heard of Phase Shift, so I'd like to read up on that. Tempest Whip, probably? Yeah, Phase Shift. Allows the caster to phase in and out of the material plane, allowing to occasionally avoid blows entirely. Bonus to dodging, pass. Not for a level 5 spell. Now, I love Fireball. Like, I really, really love Fireball. It's one of my favorite spells in any game. It's now an excellent memorize and probably similar to cast, and it's low hunger. So, I think I'm going to memorize this because, yeah, it's Fireball. Kind of have to. Also because I don't have an area effect damage spell, so that's always a plus. Well, what else? Oh, I never dropped the Book of Tempests in the end. Now, a comment on another thread mentioned Sublimation of Blood as something I should think of doing. It says that when you wield chunks and use Sublimation of Blood, you can draw more mana into yourself. My problem is I don't like switching weapons during a fight because it's like one free turn for my enemies, and because I'm a Spriggan, that's pretty much one turn I could be using to get away from them. At the same time, it is a turn. Sorry, no, it's a turn. It is a way to get mana back faster. But my necromancy is also pretty low, so I'm probably not gonna go that route. Still something to consider for the future. And this is where I last was when I was coming out of the swamp. And here you can see very clearly why I ran. There was 1, 2, 3, 4 kinds of crocodile, alligator, whatever, each with the benefit of water, meaning that I couldn't escape them. They're vulnerable to Mephitic Cloud, which is great, but they're also capable of killing me the moment I descend the staircase. Do I have a Scroll of Fear or something that I can use here to like force my way back in? Amnesia, Curse, Enchant Armor, Weapon, Magic Mapping, Remove Curse, Protect Curse, Scroll of Teleportation, Curse Weapon. No, I'm not going to risk dying stupidly as I descend a staircase on a run that's been going so well. No, instead, I'm just going to continue going down the dungeon as if I hadn't yet discovered the snake pit or swamp. So this is it, floor 12 of the dungeon. Now, the difficulty of the dungeon floor is kind of sort of spikes. I'm not sure where, but I think it's like around the 10th floor. Instead of just having the occasional single unique you need to run from, you'll have like crowds of high-level uniques or difficult enemies. So, be wary of that. Of course, if you follow the pathway that I followed, like I've said it before, I'll say it again. At this point, I'm strong enough to beat pretty much anything one-on-one. As long as I am careful to keep my fights that way. Wow, I just turned an Orc Wizard into an Orc Warrior. Apparently Little Bo Peep is along for the ride. Yeah, as much as I miss having my +5 mana, superior casting and damage is always, preferable. Now, color me intrigued, but What, pray tell, is this? What if I just discovered... Oh, is that the door to the hive? Or... What is that the door to? Hive, okay. I should actually stock up on honeycombs. Now, remember how I said that in the Oricsh Mines, sometimes enemies respawn behind you? Well, the same is true for the hive. Sorry, yeah, same is true for the hive. Bees will respawn times behind you, and the previously cleared floor will have a few bees on it. Nothing worth getting in a twist over. I mean, it's just a few bumblebees, and Lord knows that they're fairly easy to take care of in large numbers, let alone small numbers. But, you know, don't start putting on your dragon armor and get killed by a wasp. That's just embarrassing. Alrighty, down we go. What the heck was that? Man, I wish I had zombies instead of skeletons. Because I'm morbidly curious, I just can't help but wonder why there's fire here. It doesn't seem to be guarding anything. Alright, morbid curiosity over. Let's get out of here. Spell Undead is a fun spell. Alas. Oh boy. Erica, what are you doing down here? You're supposed to be on one of the first few floors. It's amazing. Sometimes you spend 5, 6, 7 shots on something which should die in 1. And you find out that you've drained your mana against a kobold and you're weaker for whatever else is coming. But as you can see, the game still likes giving you stupid encounters, or not stupid encounters, simple encounters, even later on. Usually to lull you into a false sense of security before dropping something that you can't handle on you. Do I have a better spell to fight these guys? Abjuration if they were summoned, but they're not, right? Are they summoned? They are summoned. Maybe Abjuration will work. I doubt it. Nope. Okay, guardian serpents are extraordinarily terrifying. They are, of course, poison immune, which is why I'm working so hard to keep myself behind the giant. Notice that my mana actually hit 0 there, but I had plenty of running room, so it wasn't like I was in any real danger. Notice I only had the running room thanks to the fact that I had such a big army, and because those whites don't leave corpses, I can't regenerate that army, which is less good. Ugly things I've fought before and never quite got. I think each of them are resistant to something different based on their color. Electricity. So if you're an elemental caster, you're gonna, wish that you had what they're vulnerable to, I guess. Their corpses are, I don't know if you can eat them actually. As a Spriggan, you don't eat any of them. But yeah, their corpses are not like summonable or resurrectable, so meh. Should drop something. Actually, I'll just eat. There we go. Yeah, they're not resurrectable. But the thing about ugly things isn't so much that they're dangerous. One-on-one, of course, they're harmless. It's the fact that they attack in groups of 4 and they take power. Ooh, a Naga Venom Mage. I'm immune to poison. I have poison resistance, so I'm not terrified of this thing. But it is one of my better records. Very resistant to cold, somewhat resistant to poison and fire. So that means I should focus with basic spell work. Conjurations, pure conjurations. I'm actually going to go ahead and use the Orb of Destruction. And apparently I used it against the wall instead of against... Oh, the Orb of Destruction was tracking him, so when he walked this way it hit the wall. He was too clever. Yeah, thank God for poison immunity. Otherwise that one Mephitic Cloud would have put me in a world of hurt from whatever other spells he would have used. Apparently at some point I became capable of seeing... Ooh! 2 ghosts on 1 floor! I have 41 mana, which should be enough to just use my basic attacks. But he is proving resilient, so let's pull out the bad boys. Let's use Poison Arrow, and he's still coming. He's still coming. Good old shock troops. Nah, -2 is too much of a negative. I don't want that. Never gonna get air and earth magic straight anyway, so yeah. Actually, let my Hydra have a piece of him. See, this is what they do. The moment you weaken one, it'll hide behind the one that you haven't weakened, so you drain all your mana, and if you run out of mana in the end, they just get away. And it's not so bad when it's just them, because, they're weaklings. It's bad when their brother is around, and the Volt Guards show up while you have no mana. That's when it sucks. also notice that this is the Spriggan's boon, that I have this much speed that I can chase them down. With many other races, such a chasing would not be feasible. Actually, these are both immune to my Mephitic Cloud, but I'm pretty sure they aren't both immune to Fireball! That was a poison arrow. I had to take that thing down. I'm very low on mana. Like, I couldn't win a fight heads up with a very powerful creature right now. I'd have to run. And none of these guys are leaving corpses. My god, it's like they know what I want. There we go. Better. Oh, Christ. That's what I get for not doing that before. Now I have full mana. Do your worst. Like the slimes of the deeper dungeons. These things are. Ooh, a treasure trove. Yay. Actually, are there any spells that I don't need anymore and would like to forget? I don't need the slowing spell anymore. Don't make any use of it. I have alternate means of doing the same thing, and yeah, it's basically not an effective spell for my purposes. Magic Dart, Secundern's Blast, Mephitic Cloud, Animate, Skeleton. I will keep Repel Missiles for the one time where it saves my life, because it probably will at one point. But all these other spells, I mean, Dig I don't need, but I have two ways of forgetting it. So let's just make use of the Scroll of Amnesia right now and forget Slow. And don't forget, the benefit of forgetting a spell is that it frees up your slots to learn new spells. I'm also gonna drop a Wand of Polymorph Other. I'll drop the Wand of Digging. That's ineffective because I can dig on my own without it. Drop a Potion of Levitation. Could save my life in a pinch. A lot of these are falling into the category of could save my life in a pinch, as opposed to must have. This isn't like a good spot for a stash either, but to hell with it, let's just keep going. Because like none of those things feel like particularly stashable. And I don't want to spend forever making trips between my stash and here. It's probably the reason people use the lair as a secondary stash, so it only makes sense. Okay, that's the 13th floor. Let's go one lower. See, if this had been like the 4th or 5th floor, that would have been kobolds or maybe a centaur. Now it's freaking giants with rocks. Oh, I just realized something. I now have the Scrolls of Fear and the extra scroll of Blinking I need, that I could probably take on the swamp. So I'm gonna head back down that way. Head back down to the swamp. Because the Scroll of Fear should be enough to keep me safe. That and the fact that one of the alligators is asleep at the wheel and the other seems to have backed off. Notice how fast that thing is moving thanks to his water benefits. Okie dokie. We now have cleared the doorway, which means that we are clear to at least attempt to beat the swamp. And I think that's going to be a good time to stop and continue later. Alright, this has been another run at the dungeon. We had some possibilities of seeing some dangerous stuff, but turned out to be fairly straightforward this time. We'll see what's in store next time. Alrighty, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.